Hi everyone. I just wanted to talk to you about something that I decided to make for our family. I have one daughter who really likes to eat ice cream and she loves to buy the pint-size ice cream things. So I was looking for a cozy for it because your hand gets so cold holding them. And the ice cream melts on those hot days we had this summer. And I found the Kathy Sews blog and I started to make hers, but I've made some changes to them from what she said. So I'm just going to talk to you about them. Sometimes we get the 1 liter size, and so I've got a square that fits this size. I think it's a good hold on that. Or if you have the half-liter size or 500 ml, I've got the measurements for that. So I'm just going to explain to you how I did that. On this one, I started with an 11.5-inch square, and on this one, I started with an 11-inch square. Probably could have gone down a little smaller, but I kind of like the way it fits, so I'm good with that. I'm just going to move these to a side and I'll tell you how I did it. So first of all, you're going to start with your squares depending upon what size you want to make, whether you do an 11-inch square or 11.5. And you're going to want to cut one piece of fabric for your outside, a piece of fabric for your inside, and then I use the Insel Bright. I shouldn't have sewn it together, but I use the Insel Bright for the middle. And I've sandwiched these together, and on the one layer and the Insel Bright, I just sewed a big X on them, the same as we do the bowl cozies, just to hold them in place. And then once you've got that done, I'll go to my next sample. You're going to want to take, and you're going to, and it's easier to see on here, so you can see where my lines were for my X. I'm going to fold it in half and create a rectangle. Then I'm going to create myself a little piece of cardboard for marking. And my cardboard, I started with a 3 by 3.5-inch square. I should put it this way, 3 by 3.5-inch square. And then I cut from one corner to the other corner. And then on the longer of the two sides, so the 3.5-inch side, I wrote fold. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this fold part on the fold of the fabric, and I'm going to actually turn it this way so Kylie could get a better picture. So I'm going to place it. This is my fabric folded in half, and I'm going to place the fold line here, and I'm going to put a mark down, and I would pin those together, and then I would just ignore what I used for my cardboard. I would then draw it on the other side, flip the cardboard over, keeping the fold line here, and I would do the other side. I would then stitch these down. And then on the outside of the fabric or inside, whichever one you want to use this as, I would repeat that. So I would put my fold line here, mark that corner, stitch it down, put the fold line here like this, mark the corner, and then stitch it down. So I end up with 2 rectangles with the stitching lines like this on the 2 of them and on that. So one includes the batting and one without. So then once I've got that done, I then have to repeat it again for the other side of other corners. So I take what I'm going to just do it here, and I'll do it on this one, explain it to you. I take my rectangle and I fold it in half now the other way. And then I would take my cardboard and I would lay it down and mark a line here. Then flip my cardboard over, line up these edges, lay it down, make sure this is my fold side, and mark my line. I would then take it to the sewing machine and I would stitch down that line on here and stitch down here, and I would repeat for my lining side or my outside, whichever way this is going to go because they're reversible, and I would stitch down here and stitch down here so that now I've got 2 pieces that are like this. I then take this and I fold one of them wrong side out, one of them right side out, and I sandwich them together. And I would line up the points and pin and line up, oh, sorry, I missed a step here. Sorry, before I do that, I would cut this off. So I cut off this corner because we don't want this excess. And see, I got ahead of myself there. I should have looked at my samples and paid more attention. So I cut off that extra flap. So you can see how this piece was like this. I trim that down to 1/4 of an inch, and then I press it open. And I do that on all 4 of those seams that I created, on both of them. So I've got it on both pieces, and I press it. And you can't really press right down into this corner, but I didn't worry about it. It's kind of on the bottom. It's just not going to, don't worry about it. That's a bad way to say it. But then I turn it right side out, and then I sandwich them together. So I turn them right side out, I sandwich them together, I line up my points, and I would pin here, and I'd line up this point here and pin, and do that all the way around. Then I would take it to my sewing machine, and I would stitch around on all of them, leaving somewhere. There's a spot that's left open here. I just have to find my spot I left open. Oh, right here. Making sure that you leave a spot open to turn it right side out. This is a really narrow spot. It's a real pain to get it turned right side out. I'll warn you right now. But it is doable, and before I turn it right side out, though, I clip all my corners to get rid of any bulk in these corners. I clip the seams in here. I don't know if you can see how I've clipped these seams, so that you can see I've clipped them, and that'll just help it turn right side out. It'll help it lay flatter. I also take it over to the iron, and I press these parts down. The side with the thin slate doesn't press very well, but I do press it so that I know where my edge is going to be, and then I turn it right side out. I'm not going to demo that part. Then once I get it turned right side out, it's looking like this one. I then take it to the iron, and I try and get my corners poked out as nicely as I can. Try and get these inside pieces laying as flat as I can. You got a fair amount of bulk there, so that's why I'm saying as flat as you can, and getting it to lay nice and straight. And then once I've got it laying flat, I then take it to my sewing machine, and I top stitch just about 1/8 of an inch all the way around to try and get it that we've got a nice line around here. And then you're done. It is ready for you to grab whatever size of ice cream container you like to use, and you can put that in, and you could put your flaps down if you like. You could leave them up if you like. It's totally up to you how you like to have them. I was folding them down because I found that I didn't want the points to get covered in ice cream while you were eating, but you can use them anyway. And the other thing I thought of they would also be good for is if you like to order blizzards. I think this size would hold a blizzard fairly nicely. So, well, I don't know, maybe not. I'm getting a look from my daughter who's helping me video this. Anyway, so that is today's How To Tuesday. Thank you.